Hey, this is Gopi Krishna, UR16CS075, and this is compiler lab experiment number 1, token separation. So in this experiment, we'll be separating the input that is given to us into different categories that they belong to. For example, identifiers, operators, punctuations, etc. etc. So we'll be writing a program to perform token separation in the Java programming language. So we'll start with a program. This is a main class. Since we'll be reading the input from an external file, we have created a file object and we are given the path name of the file. The file name is a.text, and we have put this in a try catch to avoid any errors. For example, if the file does not exist, or if the file uh, is not present in the folder, etc. So firstly, we have created 4 static arrays, and we have given values in these arrays. Now, first array is the keyword array. The keyword array, the values that we have stored is all the keywords that are predefined in the language, Java language, such as int, float, double, long, short, string, while, main, etc. etc. In the operators, we have used arithmetic, relational, assignment, like etc. etc. Increment, decrement, and all. And in the punctuation, we use full stop, colon, semicolon, apostrophes, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, and we won't be using the variable array. Instead, we'll be using a pattern class which is available in Java for identifying the identifiers. Now we'll be using 2 for loops. One is the external for loop, the other is the internal for loop. Now the external for loop will hold the value of the input that will be giving, that is the token, and the internal for loop will match it with the arrays that we have defined. For example, in the first position of the input, the first character is int. Now the external for loop has the value int, and the internal for loop, the first internal for loop checks with the keyword array. Now if int is present in the keyword array, for example, yes, it is present, so the keyword count will be incremented. Similarly, the second internal for loop will be for operators. That is, if the input value is an operator, it will check in the operator array, and if it is, the operator count would increase. Similarly for punctuations. Now when it comes to keywords, we'll be using the Java pattern class, that is pattern.matches. Now the keywords include the variables that are defined, that we define in the program. So the variables, the rules, the basic rules of declaring a variable is it should start with a variable, cannot start with a number, can be followed by a number, and the only special character that is allowed is an underscore. So we have given that condition here, and if that condition passes these values, the identifier count will be incremented. Now that's the end of the program. The output that will be given will be in the following format, that is the keywords, operators, punctuations, etc. That whatever is present will be given along with its count. Now the input that we will be giving from the external file, that is a.text, is int main, int a equal to 10, b equal to 10, c equal to a plus b, printf sum is mod d comma c, and return 0. Now main, int, printf, return sum, etc. keywords, whereas a, c, b, d, c, etc. are identifiers. Now let's run this program. Right click and run. So we get this output like keyword int. In the first line, the output that we are getting is for each line. For example, in the first line, the word were int main, open parenthesis and close parenthesis. So the keywords are 2, that are int and main, and the punctuations are 2, that are open parenthesis and close parenthesis, and the counts are also given. Now similarly, the output for every line is given. This is line 1, this is line 2, line 3, and so on. So we have separated the tokens and we have segregated them into their respective headings, subheadings that they belong to, and we have also given out the count. So that's the end of the first experiment, that is token separation.